I used to say yes to everything, even if I was exhausted, overwhelmed, overstimulated, or even if I just didn't want to do it. And honestly, it left me drained. Today, while I'm getting ready, I want to talk about how I actually started setting boundaries and sticking to them. Hey y'all, hey, welcome back. Before we get started, I'm Latricia Nicole. If you are new here, if you're not new here, then it's just hey. If you haven't already done so, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Now let's get started. This is something that I have struggled with for quite some time now. One of the issues with my lack of boundaries was me overcommitting. So whenever people would ask me to do something, whether I had the time or not, I always found myself saying yes. And I always found myself thinking, I'm just going to figure it out. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm just going to figure it out because such and such needs me. I like to line my eyes before I put on my makeup. I'm no makeup girly. But once I put on my makeup, I do not want to do this to hold my eye and touch makeup. I don't know, that's just me. But anyway, the real issue is that I struggle with telling people no. I don't know why, I don't know where it came from, but I could not tell people no. And I talked about this a little bit in my last vlog. If you haven't already watched it, make sure that you check it out, where I talk about how I couldn't do it anymore. And it wasn't in every situation, it just tended to be the people that I was the closest to. But the problem with that is that I'm not close to a lot of people. So the few that I was closest to, I couldn't say no. And still to this day, I want to believe that people were not purposely asking me to do a lot of things. I think that that was just the nature of the relationship. And I think that they meant well. I hope that they meant well, but it was draining me physically, emotionally, and sometimes financially as well. So I won't spend a lot of time going into a lot of detail, but what made me realize that I was overextending myself is that my youngest daughter, the baby, has autism. And if you know someone that has a child with special needs, or if you have a child with special needs, then you know that that takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of time to properly be a support for that child. So imagine me saying yes to all of these other outside entities, and my own child needed me. And when she needed me the most, I found that I was always overstimulated. So that is one of the things that made me realize, girl, you're doing too much. And I know that I said that everybody that was asking of me was not doing it on purpose, but there were some people that were honestly just selfish in their requests. Everybody around me knows that my child has autism. It's not a secret. It's not something that I'm embarrassed by. So once I really sat and realized that people were always calling me for something, on a day where she may have a lot of needs that particular day, I realized, dang, I got this going on with my baby and you still calling me asking me to do such and such. What about me? And this is the thing, I don't need any help. I don't need any extra support or resources. Me and my husband have it, but it's just the idea that I have my own stuff going on over here. Hey. And because people were constantly calling and pulling for me, I had to really sit and realize, dang, did they even ask me if I had anything to do today? Before they started in with their own requests. 9 times out of 10, the answer was no. They were not asking me if I had anything going on. They were not asking me if I had anything to do. It was only about what they needed from me at that time. And I just found myself always giving rides, always holding a phone, giving advice, always loaning money. And I realized that those family members, friends, they were not the problem. I was the problem. I lacked boundaries. I didn't know how to just flat out tell people no. And even when I would tell them no, I would give no with an excuse. Like, no, I can't do that today because I have an appointment. So what does that mean? They would call back another day because they would think I didn't have that appointment anymore. I needed to learn how to say no as a complete sentence with no explanation, because honestly, I don't owe people an explanation. No is simply your way of telling people I don't have the capacity for that. I just can't do it. Here's the thing about setting boundaries. When you start setting boundaries, you're ultimately teaching people how to treat you, how to respect your time. And it's absolutely nothing wrong with teaching people how to treat you. It's nothing wrong with establishing boundaries. Because I promise you, if you don't have boundaries, people are going to wear you down to the ground. They are going to drain you dry. And when you over there dry and you don't have fight left to give, you don't have any energy, you're depleted, I could guarantee you that most of those people will be nowhere to be found. Another thing that let me know that I needed to set boundaries with people was when I started working from home. I honestly don't know how this became a thing, but people assume because I work from home that I just had a lot of free time to do whatever I want. Well, the operative word in the phrase work from home is work. These people actually pay me to do a job. I have a job to do, no different than if I was in the office. And so that's one of the things that I had to start explaining to people. What would you have done if I was in the office? How would you fix this issue if you needed me to bring you somewhere or do something for you just because I work from home? Pretend I'm still in the office. That definitely created some confusion when it came to boundaries with a lot of people, my family included. Not too long ago, I just was very overstimulated. I had a lot going on. JC has a very busy schedule. I've talked about it a little bit on my vlog. My son plays football. Kennedy has her own stuff going on, even though she has graduated college now. And I remember one day, not too long ago, somebody called me and they wanted to talk. They needed advice about something. And I'm normally the go-to person for advice. I'm normally the person that has everything. And it was just a lot going on in the background. And I'm walking around the house. I'm saying, get down, don't do this, put this down, stop doing that. And the person never stopped talking. And that was kind of an indication for me that, okay, you're going to have to make some changes because you can't be everything to everybody. You just can't. So that's the thing. Like, setting boundaries does not mean that you have to be rude or you have to be mean to people. But it's a form of self-care, because I promise you, if you don't have boundaries, life is already lifing. Life is already hard. So if you have a bunch of people in your life who don't respect boundaries, who don't respect the things that you have going on, it's only going to add to the stress that life can already be giving you. And nobody has time for that. At least I don't. Unfortunately, or maybe it's fortunate, once you start setting boundaries, there are going to be people that are going to be upset with you. You are going to lose some people in your life. And the way I see it is, those are the people that were not there for the right reasons, because they only benefited from your lack of boundaries. Imagine you thinking that you have a certain relationship with people because you feel one way, and these people are only around because you don't have any boundaries and you are able to provide something for them that they need. And that's okay once you get over the hurt, because sometimes it is going to hurt when people have to leave your life for whatever reason. Once you get over the hurt of not having that person, you're going to realize that it was for the best. Because let me tell you something. Some of those relationships that I lost because I had to have boundaries, in hindsight, once I got over the loss, I realized they really were not adding any value to my life anyways. And sometimes you don't even have to really set the boundaries, baby. Sometimes life will set the boundaries for you. Imagine getting sick and you can't be there for people the way that you once were. And instead of them being there for you like you've been there for them, they take it personal and y'all just not friends anymore. My baby has my fan somewhere. I have no idea where it's at. But that's cool too. And when you first start setting those boundaries, you're going to feel guilty. You're going to feel guilty about not being there for the person. You're going to feel guilty about saying no, because you're going to have thoughts of, well, how are they going to do it? How are they going to get there? How are they going to do such and such? That's not your burden to bear. You don't have to be mean, but everybody's problem is not your burden to bear. And when you set the boundaries, do not over-explain. Sometimes no is a complete sentence. I don't have to tell you why it's no. It's just no. But once I started setting boundaries and sticking to them, here are a few things that changed for me. I noticed that I felt better physically. Mentally, I felt better because I wasn't drained. I wasn't overextending myself anymore. And even with my job, I was more productive. I found that I had more productivity because I wasn't holding the phone all the time. I wasn't answering every text message. I just had more time to focus on me and the things that I had going on, to focus on my family, the things that they had going on. All right, let me go and get her dressed and put my clothes on, and I'll show y'all the final look. So just know that when you're setting boundaries, it's normal to feel guilty, but it's gonna be okay. Once you start setting healthy boundaries, people will know how to interact with you. People will know how to respect you, respect your time, respect the things that you have going on. And that's gonna make for better relationships for the people that stick around. Thank y'all so much for getting ready with me this morning. Here is my finished, very simple look. It's my going to therapy look. And my girl is ready to go. What's one boundary that you're working on? Drop down in the comments and let me know. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already done so, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. That's it, that's all, bye.